I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickboxer.
Jake, the ball's in your court. Step up and face Andrew Tate or keep running and prove to the world that Tate was right about you all along, a clown who doesn't belong in the fight game. The hard truth is, Jake Paul has never truly grasped what it means to be a real fighter. He's skipped the grind, the relentless training, the years of blood, sweat, and sacrifice with no spotlight, no money, just pure heart. While real fighters hustle day in and day out for scraps, Jake struts around, cashing in and turning the sport into a circus. And Tate? He didn't just call him out, he exposed him. Called the whole act what it really is. A cheap, hollow spectacle built for views, not glory. So will Jake accept the challenge and face Tate? Probably not. But one thing's crystal clear. This wasn't just a call-out. Tate embarrassed Jake. On a global scale. And let's be honest, Jake brought it on himself.
If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Google it if you want to know more. Any day,
But don't worry, I'm breaking down exactly why Jake keeps dodging Andrew Tate's savage callouts and how even Joe Rogan saw right through Jake's play-it-safe strategy. Buckle up, because this story is loaded with drama, ego, and some brutally funny truths you won't want to miss.
As a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Come on, fight. Make it. 20 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk, Steve. Let's go. Come on, work. Work. 10 seconds. Work.
Jake Paul loves to claim he'll take on all challengers until a real test shows up. Then, like clockwork, he vanishes. And honestly, who better to call out the act than Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate? If there were a handbook on how to dodge legit competition while shouting about being the best, Jake Paul probably authored the damn thing.
Yeah, he'll never do that, though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And
he's not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might
and it's funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never.
When Andrew Tate, former kickboxing champ and world-class button pusher, called out Jake Paul, the internet lit up. Tate wasn't bluffing. He put $3 million on the line and issued a bold challenge, anytime, anywhere. But instead of lacing up his gloves and stepping into the ring, Jake paused. And not the kind of pause that builds suspense. The awkward kind that makes you wonder if he's scrambling to text his PR team for a way out.
Somebody like me, he'd mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my finances.
And then came Jake's genius pivot, challenging Mike Tyson. Yes, the 57-year-old retired legend whose prime was back when VHS tapes ruled the world. In his infinite wisdom, Jake figured boxing Tyson was a smarter move than stepping into the ring with Andrew Tate, someone who's not only in fighting shape, but also wildly unpredictable. Sure, it was calculated, but above all, it screamed one thing: fear. Because let's be honest, that Tyson fight, scripted from start to finish. And Jake knows damn well, there's no script when you're fighting Andrew Tate.
So when you see some of these crossover fights, obviously I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Let's not pretend this is the first time Jake Paul's sidestepped a fight he couldn't control. His entire boxing career has been a masterclass in cherry-picking opponents. Former basketball players? Check. Retired MMA fighters who've never boxed a day in their lives? Double check. And now, Mike Tyson. A legendary name, sure, but a 57-year-old retiree with just enough fame to sell tickets and not enough speed to pose a real threat. It's a pattern so blatant that even Jake's most loyal fans are starting to raise eyebrows. Joe Rogan didn't hold back on his podcast, calling out Jake's strategy for what it is: calculated avoidance. He's fighting old, undersized guys, Rogan said, nailing what everyone's been thinking. And let's be real, Jake Paul doesn't want to fight Andrew Tate because Tate is everything Jake avoids. Younger, faster, and dangerously unpredictable. Rogan even took it further, saying Jake's hesitation proves he's more focused on protecting his record than proving himself as a real fighter. Now let's talk about Andrew Tate for a second. This isn't some washed-up internet troll chasing a quick payday. Tate is a former kickboxing world champion, with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. He didn't just challenge Jake Paul, he dared him to step into the ring. That $3 million bet, it wasn't a publicity stunt, it was a statement. Tate knew Jake would back down, and he wanted the whole world to watch it happen. But Tate didn't stop after the first call-out. When Jake ghosted him, he came back even harder, calling him out again and exposing what everyone already suspected. Jake's entire boxing career is built around opponents he can control, fights that are more theater than test. There's a difference between training and being a fighter, Tate said, landing one of the coldest shots at Jake's carefully crafted image. Prime fighters destroy hobbyists.
2 brothers, 1 cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of men we are.
Jake's silence after Tate's second challenge was deafening. For a guy who never stops talking when it's time to hype a fight, Jake suddenly had nothing to say. His fans, who were buzzing about a potential Paul versus Tate showdown, were left scratching their heads wondering what happened. And if this feels like Jake just got dropped by a verbal 1-2 combo, then slip the jab and smash that subscribe button, because this saga is landing more hits than Jake ever will in a real fight. Let's break it down. Jake Paul chose to fight Mike Tyson instead of Andrew Tate for one simple reason. Tyson is the safer option. Yes, Tyson is a boxing legend, no doubt, but let's not gloss over the obvious. He's 57 and decades past his prime. Jake saw a chance to control the narrative. He knew the Tyson fight would sell based on name value alone, not because it posed a real threat. And let's be honest, that fight was scripted from the jump. Most importantly, Jake knew it wouldn't put his carefully polished record on the line. Fighting Tate? That's chaos, unpredictability, and real danger. 3 things Jake's whole career has worked to avoid.
Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. Sorry, Tristan Tate is the weak link.
I say let's
He got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
A MMA double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight. You might have a fight.
Now contrast that with Andrew Tate, a fighter in his mid-30s in peak physical condition and backed by years of real combat sports experience. Tate is sharp, unpredictable, and absolutely not here to play by Jake Paul's scripted rules. If Jake ever stepped into the ring with Tate, it wouldn't just be about losing a fight, it would be about being exposed. Exposed as the hobbyist Tate's been calling him all along, because in a real fight, there's nowhere to hide. And against someone like Tate, Jake's carefully built image would crumble the second the bell rings.
Why don't you lose to an old man who's retired? I live in the real f***ing world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real f***ing world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated their lives to this sport and don't have a f***ing fraction of the money you have because you managed to become a f***ing clown.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when addressing Jake Paul's decision to fight Mike Tyson instead of Andrew Tate. Jake Paul doesn't want a fight he can't control, Rogan said, cutting through the hype with brutal clarity. And he's right. Jake's entire boxing career has been built around control. Hand-picked opponents, carefully managed narratives, and fights that feel more like productions than real tests. But Andrew Tate? He's the one variable Jake can't manipulate. A real threat, raw and unpredictable. If Jake thought his fans wouldn't catch on, he was dead wrong. Social media erupted with backlash. Critics called him a coward, a fraud, and worse. Even some of Jake's longtime supporters couldn't defend the move, admitting that choosing an aging Tyson over a prime Tate was a bad look. The internet doesn't forget, and this decision might be the one that haunts Jake Paul's legacy for years to come.
Keep going. Come on, work. Go. Work. Come on, Marcy. Keep going. Work. Come on, fight. Make it. Hey. 50 seconds. Let's go, let's go, let's go!
And let's not forget Tate's fans. They were more than happy to pile on. Jake's social media was flooded with taunts, memes, and relentless reminders that he backed down from facing a real fighter. Tate, of course, seized the moment like a pro. He doubled down, calling Jake out for being scared and throwing his challenge right back into the spotlight. It wasn't just trash talk, it was a masterclass in psychological warfare. And Jake, he had no response. No comeback. Just silence.
The best boxer on the planet is
Jake Paul.
Why?
I mean, who's doing it?
I mean, if Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down?
100%.
I'm gonna make Mike my girlfriend.
Would you fight Mike Tyson? Again, no, because he's now old, and I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match. So to beat him when he's past his prime is dishonorable, and I'd feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the planet that could convince me to fight.
Joe Rogan's comments only added fuel to the fire. He didn't just expose Jake Paul's strategy, he dismantled it. He's avoiding young, competitive opponents, Rogan said. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that. Every opponent Jake has faced has either been out of their prime, out of their weight class, or completely out of their depth. Facing Andrew Tate would have been Jake's chance to silence the critics and finally prove he's more than just a YouTuber with a decent right hand. But instead, he took the easy route, and Rogan wasn't about to let him off the hook. Jake Paul's decision to reject Tate's fight offer hasn't just dented his reputation, it's exposed the core weakness in his entire brand. For years, Jake has sold himself as a fearless competitor, but this saga, it shattered that illusion. Now, fans see him for what he truly is. A savvy businessman, more focused on selling fights than actually proving himself as a fighter.
I'm known as a fighter in a way that he never will be. I'm known as a fighter in the way that if you throw me in a cell with a murderer, a rapist, and 2 drug dealers, people look at me and go, oh, hey, respect. He would have left with a higher male body count than his fiance. That's how he would have left.
Jake Paul can fight. It's not like Jake Paul can't fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul just won't fight anybody.
And then comes the looming question. Where does Jake Paul go from here? Does he keep dodging real opponents and risking even more backlash? Or does he finally step up and face someone like Andrew Tate? The longer he avoids fighters like Tate, the more his credibility erodes. Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan haven't just criticized Jake, they've exposed him in a way no opponent ever has. They've revealed the cracks in the armor, and now the world is watching. Jake can keep pretending he's the future of boxing, but that illusion is wearing thin. As long as he avoids real challenges, that narrative will crumble. His empire, built on hype, spectacle, and carefully crafted matchups, is standing on shaky ground. And unless he changes course soon, it's only a matter of time before it collapses completely.